The search continues for a missing submersible going to explore the wreck of the Titanic. Officials say the journey started on Sunday. They quickly lost contact with the crew. It's estimated that they have less than 2 days worth of oxygen left on this craft. So to explain what the dangers of this is and what this means, we brought in our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, because she understands things like this when we talk about oxygen and breathing. And we're just, I mean, nobody knows. We don't want you to speculate, but this is terrifying.
It's terrifying on so many levels. I mean, I think about their mental health first, because just knowing that you're trapped on this vessel without necessarily having a supply of oxygen, when you panic and you get stressed, you actually consume more oxygen. So paradoxically, that kind of a stress response can actually make their oxygen supply even less and deplete it even more quickly. And then, of course, you think about the food, the carbon dioxide, you have to remove that, the fresh water, the temperature, all of the other things that you have to think about in terms of keeping them healthy.
I think for all of us, we look at it now and assume that any sort of rescue would be a miracle, an absolute miracle. So we try to think of the physical, and as you mentioned, the mental and emotional stress that people may be under. I'm trying to think of something you might compare it to. Is there anything that you can think of that might give people a through line to understand? I
think about holding your breath. How long can you hold your breath? Because our body is not designed to have oxygen reserves. We just don't know what to do. We need a lot of oxygen, and it's about 7 liters a minute of oxygen that an average human consumes. Now, some of that depends on your body size, your gender, your baseline level of fitness, also what you're doing. If you're being active, you need more oxygen. But that's several hundred liters of oxygen per day. And we don't know what this submersive was designed with. We don't know if it has a concentrator. We don't know if it's able to generate oxygen from the water. But it's a high demand of just the oxygen, much less all the other things.
I think the upside is that people are saying if they are still intact, if they are in fact still alive, that they have a little less than 2 days worth of oxygen. If that's the case, there's little you can do, because you talk about stress adding to you burning the fuel you need to save.
Very, very true. And I also think even just about the integrity of the vessel, the power to the vessel, because if the temperature is too cold in the vessel, you could start developing hypothermia, which causes shivering, which causes more consumption of oxygen. It's, maladaptive. Of course, again, if the carbon dioxide exhalation mechanism is not working, that can cause you to get confused, get nauseated, have other symptoms from carbon dioxide poisoning. And so there's just so many things to think about. Pressure inside, and is it still pressurizing the air that way that it should?
To think of 5 people in that small little submarine too is a lot, and under those situations and the oxygen and panic. It kind of also reminds me that we get on airplanes and sometimes don't pay attention when the flight attendants and everybody give us the rule, and you're thinking, they always say, attach it to a child first before yourself, because you panic.
Yes. And
if that drops, you're going to panic.
I am so glad that you mentioned that, because really when you're running out of oxygen, you have seconds or minutes. You don't have hours. And so it's really important to know how to put the mask on, to know what you need to do in that kind of a situation, because once that oxygen starts running out, your body starts shutting the organs down, because your brain is being deprived of glucose and it triggers responses. So the first thing that happens is your heart speeds up because it's trying to pump more oxygen to the brain. When that doesn't work, you shut off the circulation to your fingers and toes and start conserving the oxygen for the organs. When that doesn't work, you start shutting down the organs, you start to lose vision, your heart can stop, of course, the kidneys shut down, the blood becomes acidic. It's just awful. They
were only supposed to be in that submersible for a few hours. So the idea that now they're on days, and with a couple of days left, and sadly, as we find out more about this rescue operation, you understand the difficulty of trying to locate it. Trying to locate this submersible is going to be very difficult. So we hold out hope and we wish for the best, but it's a kind of a terrifying experience for those of us to follow along with, if you will, as well.
Yeah.
So.
And my thoughts are with their families, of course, and with them.
I can't imagine what they're going through and thinking of right now, but thank you for explaining it to us, and now we have a little bit better understanding of the importance.
We shall see.
And yeah.
Thank you. Dr. Payal Kohli.